In the darkest jungles of Burma during World War II, one man stood between life and death, one man against 200 enemy soldiers. He was just 4 feet 11 inches tall, but his bravery, towering. This is the story of Lachhiman Gurung, the one-handed Gurkha who became a legend. There is a story told in the village of WWII in the Himalayan foothills of Nepal. One man sent out his son to buy some cigarettes at the village shop one morning in 1941. The son returned 5 years later, blind in one eye, minus his right hand, and wearing the Victoria Cross but without the cigarettes. And that man was Lachhiman. Gurung was born on the 30th of December 1917 in the village of WWII, Chitwan district of Nepal. The son of Lachhiman Gurung, young Lachhiman Gurung met a friend in the village while he was going to buy a cigarette for his father, and his friend told him about the recruitment in Gurkha rifles. Without returning to home, Gurung went to join British Indian Army at that time. He joined the British Indian Army in December 1940, permitted to enlist in wartime, although he was only 4 feet 11 inches tall and so below the peacetime minimum height. Now, talking about the Burma campaign, Burma was targeted strategically by the Japanese Empire for 2 reasons. One was to cut off a major Allied military supply route to China. The other was based in ambition by the Japanese to reach the border of India and provoke a rebellion against the British Raj. Heavy fighting continued into 1945 throughout the thick jungles of Burma. There were attacks and counterattacks by each side. Slowly, the British advanced into Burmese territory, but at a heavy cost. In some regions, every inch of territory was fought over. Toward the end of April 1945, the 89th Indian Brigade, under General Sir William Slim, was ordered to intercept and destroy a withdrawing Japanese force. Some of the units were detached and told to swing around to block the Japanese retreat, and that's where Lachhiman Gurung's 8th Gurkha Rifles were sent. One company, commanded by Major Peter Myers, became cut off at west of the river in the direct path of successive waves of enemy attacks. Rifleman Lachhiman Gurung had joined Myers' company just 2 months ago as part of a reinforcement draft. They had established a company-defended locality over that place. On the night of 12th, the 13th of May, 1945, Rifleman Lachhiman Gurung was manning the most forward post of his platoon. At 0102 hours, at least 200 troops of Japanese force start to assault his company position. The brunt of the attack was coming from the side of Rifleman Lachhiman Gurung's section, and by his own post in particular. This post dominated a jungle path leading up into his platoon locality. Before assaulting, the enemy hurled innumerable grenades at the position from close range. One grenade fell on the lip of Rifleman Lachhiman Gurung trench. He had once grasped it and hurled it back at the enemy. Almost immediately, another grenade fell directly inside the trench. Again, this rifleman snatched it up and threw it back. A third grenade then fell just in front of the trench. He attempted to throw it back, but it exploded in his hand, blowing off his fingers, shattering his right arm and severely wounding him in the face, body, and right leg. His 2 comrades were also badly wounded and lay helpless in the bottom of the trench. The enemy, screaming and shouting, formed up shoulder to shoulder and attempted to rush the position by sheer weight of numbers. Rifleman Lachhiman Gurung, regardless of his wounds, fired and loaded his rifle with his left hand. Wave after wave of fanatical attacks were thrown in by the enemy, and all were repulsed with heavy casualties. For 4 hours after being severely wounded, Rifleman Gurung remained alone at his post, waiting with perfect calm for each attack, which he met with fire at point-blank range from his rifle, determined not to give 1 inch of ground. Of the 87 enemy dead counted in the immediate vicinity of the company locality, 31 lay in front of this rifleman section, the key to the whole position. He was the man who fought till he was unconscious, and he alone held those enemy for hours and hours. He did not let enemy to overrun his trench. If enemy had succeeded in overrunning and occupying Rifleman Lachhiman Gurung's trench, the whole of the reverse slope position would have been completely dominated and turned. A Japanese victory at this point would be a major setback for the British. This rifleman, by his magnificent example, so inspired his comrades to resist the enemy to the last, that, although surrounded and cut off for 3 days and 2 nights, they held and smashed every attack. His outstanding gallantry and extreme devotion to duty, in the face of almost overwhelming odds, were the main factors in the defeat of the enemy. Gurung was hospitalized for the wounds he received during the action, and subsequently lost his right eye and the use of his right hand, but he continued to serve with the 8th, choosing to remain with them when they were transferred to the newly independent Indian Army in 1947. He later achieved the rank of Honorable Havildar. and he returned to his village in Nepal. On completion of his service in 1947, where he farmed on a small holding, he received Victoria Cross from the Viceroy of India, Field Marshal Lord Wavell, at the Red Fort in Delhi, on the 19th of December 1945, the highest military honor for gallantry in the British Empire. He became one of only 13 Gurkhas in history to receive this honor. Lachhiman Gurung, VC, born in Dahat Shikani in 1917, and twice married according to army records, passed away on December 12, 2010, aged 93. A true hero and a legend, his story lives on, not because he was a soldier, but because he was a symbol of courage, sacrifice, and the spirit of the Gurkhas. He is survived by his second wife Manmaya, 2 sons and a daughter of his first marriage, and 2 sons of his second. His eldest son Subadat became a major in the Indian artillery, and his youngest son Krishna Bahadur is serving in the Royal Nepalese Army. Gurung's medal, the VC, occupies a place of honor at the regimental quarter guard of the 8th Gurkha Rifles, an eternal inspiration to future generations of Gurkha riflemen.